So we have seen also in some of our speaker presentation that how do we decide what we think about our education, our career. But for me, it is important that not only education, whenever you want to go somewhere, you just don't go to do your job or education or whatever. You have to do some kind of analysis. And especially before coming to Germany, I request everyone to think a little bit in more detail, because the system is very different that we used to or hear about United States or UK or Australia. So how do we choose? So I would say that at least in my perspective, we should look about what kind of education system we have here. What is the job opportunity if you want to continue here? As Daniel mentioned, Germany is needing a lot of engineers in future. So at least you see that this is a trend. If you want to work, then you will think about what is about the lifestyle, how is the health system, and if later on you decide to settle down here, so you also think about it. So the question is whether you want to only talk about the education system because you just want to study and come back, but you have to look into whole perspective. What is your goal? No one can help you to decide whether this is a good place or not, but we can give you the input. And my idea is to empower you, not to give you some spoon feeding that you do this or that. If we empower, then you can take your good decision. So when we talk about the education system, I would say that we have a really good quality of university. There is no doubt about it. We have a lot of international students, and also you saw that Daniel explained that Indians are also a good number in Germany. So you will not miss that kind of atmosphere that internationality is missing. In most of the public university, tuition fees is not existing. So we'll only hear about semester contribution, which is a couple of €100 for per 6 months. And in return, you get a lot of facilities like library, transport, and so on. But we do here have some private universities. And there, of course, you have to pay the tuition fee. So education system is good. And this education system is quite widely recognized, not only in this country, but all around the globe. So it means that you will have the opportunity to look for the job after this education if you want to. And German market is export driven. So it means that there is always a lot of need of engineers, and demand of a skilled worker is very high because we are missing from our local population. And there is a big amount of big and a small scale industry. You would have heard about Siemens, BMW, Volkswagen, Porsche. So you can hear about many big industry, but also you can heard about, let's say, Sennheiser is a quite small company with a very big presence. So there are a lot of small companies, even with a very few hundred of people, and they are very good. The job security is very high from the system itself because you have a very good labor law. It is not a hire and fire situation like in US. So think about this topic. You want to live here, then you would say, how is my work-life balance? So I would say that it is one of the very great place where you have a very good work-life balance. So it is not like you are working overnight and just running like a robot. You have a very, very good system here that protects you from overworking and so on. And there's a very good amount of holidays per year. So paid holidays are like between 24 to 30, so which is not easy to find in many different parts of the world, especially not in US or in UK, for sure not in India as well. The life is very safe, crime rate is very small. And if you want to continue with your family here, the family life is possible. It's a very, very nice system. If you want to grow your family, the childcare is very good. The schooling system is great. You have a very much, let's say, well-established public health system. And also you have a social security, which means that if you lose a job, something mishappens, it's all taken care if you are the part of the system. And if you want to settle down, you have several possibilities like a blue card, permanent residency, citizenship. You can also come from India for job search visa. So it depends what you are looking for, what you want to achieve, and you have to take a decision based on these inputs. I would also like to share just a website which is very nice, because my idea is to empower you, not to give you some spoon-fed information. So this is a website from German government, which is giving you all the possibility that if you want to work in Germany, what you can do. If you want to study, what you can do. What are the possibility of visa, what kind of services you get. Like this is a small page where it is talking about the engineers, what kind of engineering company we have, how we are investing. So this is like a one-step solution for most of the thing that you are going to look for as a job. And it is a government website, full trustable, not any, let's say, agent. And never try to go to any agent for such kind of information. I think please work yourself and find a good way out of it. Now, as Daniel has already mentioned, so it is now, let's say, covered that we have a two different class of a system, which is the university and applied sciences. And we have seen that we have a CHE ranking, which is very much like it is coming from the assessment done by a student and professor. And this is a very diversified ranking. There is nothing like a one best. You have to look into what you want and whether for that particular stream, that course is, which university suits you best. So I really appreciate it that you have to think about and you get the best, what fits to you. And there is undoubtedly a very good system from DAAD, because if you want to go for a program, how do you search? So I would again say that don't go for any consultant or anywhere. You just have to go to a well-recognized DAAD government system. Like you see this kind of a website, and you can look for all the possible information. Even for example, if you want to say, I want to do study and research in Germany, you just go into this page, you say, okay, what I want to do, I want to look for a study program in this particular thing. You can choose which program type, maybe graduate, undergraduate. You can choose which kind of, let's say, engineering and science. Do you want to do for bachelor, master's, whatever? So let's say bachelor. You can also choose the course of the language, English. And at the end, you can choose filter. You can look here. You can just go into each filtering option that given that is coming as an output from this let's say search engine from DAAD. And then on each course, you can just look for all the detail, what is happening there, what you need. You don't have to go anywhere. You just rely on the system and just you have to work. You have to just figure out how to get into yourself in a mode that you acquire the information, not seek for a ready-made information. And that will empower you not today, but also in the future, because the life is not difficult. When you get in, life will start getting tougher. To finish it, continue yourself to develop that you are reaching the goal for which you are coming to this place or to any other place. So a very quick summary, I would say that if you are trying to learn, trying to look for an option bachelor, of course, we have a possibility in English as well as in German. I will first talk about the English courses. So you can do all the searches from this DAAD website that I showed you. For the requirement for the English course is like IELTS or TOEFL, if you have a native speaker or not. And there are some other situation in some universities that they also may ask for a basic German, but it is very rare. If you want to study in English, it is not really asked. You have the possibility for public and private university, but you have to do sometime a foundation course. What it is, I will show you in the next slide. But as I said, you're coming to a different system. So be ready to face yourself with the new challenges. So train yourself to face the challenge, and that will help you in succeeding. So now I would like to talk about if you want to do the study in German system, like here, English system, what you saw is maybe more straightforward, but in a German system, you have to understand a little more. So in Germany, your pre-university education is, let's say, for 13 years. Then you write an exam. Then you have like a 3 to 4 year of bachelor, 1 to 2 year master, more than 3 year PhD in rough sense. In India, your pre-university is only for 12 years. You write a board exam and then you go for bachelor study, which is fixed for 4 years, 2 years masters, and maybe up to 3 years. So the problem or the question is, you want to go from here to here, this system, and what is missing is this. This is not existing in your education system in India. So we have to find how to fill this up. That is where the government has provided the system that you can go for a foundation course. So 1 year of Studienkolleg it is called in German language for German course, in English for the English course. Other option is that if you have already reached a IIT JEE ranking, so up to 30,000 people get this like a ranking in their exam. So that kind of ranking can be used to get admission in the German system to fulfill this 1 year. The other thing is you have done 1 year of bachelor studies in India and you can use this to fill this. So this 1 year somehow you have to cover to get into the system for the bachelor studies. But I will talk here about my Studienkolleg because the rest is very straightforward. Here the challenge is that what and how it happens. So what is happening here is you have this university education, and for that you have to get into a German system. For that you have to write an entrance exam. that is called 𝗪𝗻𝗡𝗪prüfung, which will take place in German. And once you qualify this exam, you will get admission in so-called Studienkolleg, and the program will also be in German that you have to learn. You will learn technical German. You will learn how to learn those technical, let's say, vocabulary topics and so on. Then, once you are done with this, you have to pass this exam, and then you will get a grade. So you will get a grade from this particular exam course, and that will be averaged together with your +2 grade. And on this average basis, you will be able to get admitted into the colleges where your grade can fit. And then you are going into the system. So overall, just a roadmap, what you have to do if you want to do your education here. So you start learning German as quick as possible, at least B1, B2 before you finish your class 12. And I would say at least 70% your grade is required, otherwise it is difficult. With this 2 things, you can apply for this Studienkolleg program through UniAssist or direct in the university and so on. Then you will receive an invitation for 𝗪𝗻𝗡𝗪prüfung. It means receive an invitation to write the exam. With this letter, you can go and apply for bachelor studies in the consulate as a visa form. And based on this, you will get the visa, and then you come to Germany, and then you have to write the entrance test to get admission into this bridge course or for 1 year. Once you pass it, you will get into this, let's say, not M course, T course for the technical. And once you are here you are getting into admission, you have to get a good grade during the examination from the Studienkolleg, because that grade is going to be used together with your bachelor grade to get into admission for the bachelor. But if you are not having a good grade, sometime you also have an option that you can write test as, that also gives you some additional point that will be used for your education to get admitted. So this is the one way. Now coming to the master's program, which can take place between 1 to 2 years, but in Germany, it depends how you decide to finish your courses. There is not a fixed course for 1 to 2 years. You have to get the credit point, and you have to see how you manage it. Some can do it in 1 to 2 years, some even takes longer, so it depends on individual. But just a small checklist, what you need minimum. So this is just a guideline, I would say, from my experience. So IELTS is 6.4. I would say 6.5 minimum. It can go up to 7 or more to 5.5, but on average. And you should have it. It is like you qualify or not. It doesn't mean that if you have a 7, you will get an extra advantage, but every university has a cutoff. So it's a Boolean. You can also use the GRE score. Some university accept this. Some university also accepts this GATE score from India, and that you can use for your admission. It is not necessary to have a German proficiency, but some also do require for B1 for you to consider to get into the system and integrated here. Again, for public university, you should have at least 60% or more grade. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Then you have to write your statement of purpose, reco letter, and so on. So that is more or less minimum thing you need. But if you look into the German language course, you do not need this, of course, English proficiency, GRE, GATE, and so on. What you need a very high quality of German proficiency. And even if you have a slightly less percentages in your bachelor, you still can get admitted, but doesn't mean that you will go through it easily. You have to pass the courses in German. So you have to really work hard to really come out of the system. Getting into is one thing, coming out is another challenge, and make yourself ready for the job market or for your future ideas. So just roughly cost, how you see that you can apply through UniAssist, which has a certain cost for first application, and second on it was a little less. On average, we say that the living cost is like around 850 euro, but you have to keep in mind that there is no semester fee. You only have a semester contribution like 300 to 500 euro for every 6 months. While studying, you can also work up to 20 hours per week. You can also work as a research assistant. So these are the possibility to finance yourself. This is just a rough understanding when the semester starts and ends, but it is highly recommended. I told you to look into DAD. That shows you more detail university-wise, and follow that. When it comes to the PhD, it is not considered like a normal student. There is no fixed date or timing for it like a semester scheme. So you have to really contact professor based on your interest, and that is how it goes. So you are considered as a research scientist as a PhD. So you have to take this opportunity and see what you want, how you want to do it, make yourself well informed, and that is how we can deal with it. So our idea is that we have to empower you. That is my idea. You have the potential, you have to unlock yourself.